Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 79 of the Roast in the Ceilings podcast. Today, we're just going to give you some quick updates to what we've been up to on the podcast. There's a lot of fun and exciting stuff coming up.
Mhm. 79 is crazy. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go 79, which is weeks, times 7, that'll give you the amount of days that we've been doing this podcast for. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but that's gonna be a lot of days. So I'm very proud of you guys for staying consistent, listening us and us. So today's gonna be a really fun episode.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting us. It means the world to us. So our first update is that we were on a different podcast, Survivor Talks, which we
Mm,
are so excited about. It was our first time ever being on a different
mm,
podcast. And
mm,
in the episode, we talked about discussing topics related to
mm,
feminism, like intersectionality.
mm,
We talked about what it is, why it's important, why it should be spoken about more, and especially as two young racialized girls, how can we use our platform to focus more on marginalized voices? We also
mm.
talked about Western feminism and how the ideologies that are often spoke about and brought up when discussing feminism are centered around Western culture. So we talked about steering away from that as well.
Yeah. We're not gonna recap the whole episode for you guys because you should go over to Survivor Talks and listen to the full thing. It was really interesting to have that conversation. So again, not recapping the whole topic, but I thought it'd be really interesting for us to kind of sit down and talk about what it's like to be a host of a podcast versus a guest of a podcast. Because you guys have been keeping up with the podcast, you know that we very frequently have people on. We very frequently have guests on and we talk to them about what they do in their fields, the challenges they go through, the growth that they've made. But we've never been the guest. We've never gone on another person's podcast and answered their questions. And surprisingly, there are a lot of differences. I think the main thing is you don't really know what you're expecting as a guest. And that kind of made me realize too, like how we can be a better host. Because I think it made me realize, like, hey, maybe we should give our guests a little heads up. The host of Survivor Talk, she is so lovely and so nice, and she did give us a heads up. And that was lovely because going in, I kind of realized, hey, I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about here. I don't know where this is going. So I think that was one of the main differences I felt about being a guest over a host. And another thing was kind of just like the differences in how you bring up topics. Like as a guest, you kind of like you have to give up a bit of control sometimes. You kind of have to let your host take you where they want to go for the episode, for the flow, which is a little different from what we do because well, we're usually the host here. We usually have our little questions. We usually have what we want to steer the guest in direction wise, topic wise. So I think taking that step back was another thing that we really had to learn. But overall, I think it was just so exciting to try something new. Everything doing anything for the first time is just so exciting and be able to go into someone else's podcast studio and being the guest and being the ones introduced instead of being, hi guys, welcome to another Roast in the Ceilings episode. That was very fun, very new, and we both had a really fun time and it was a really great episode.
I love those insights, Maggie. It was so much
Mhm.
different, and it's great that we have that experience now. Definitely for our listeners, go check out Survivor Talks. You can
Mhm.
search them up on Instagram, on Spotify, and Shivani,
Mhm.
the host, she is absolutely incredible. Definitely would suggest
Mhm.
watching her.
For sure. Um, Let us know if we act differently on someone else's podcast versus our own, actually, because I don't know, we probably did. Second big update we want to share with you guys on Roasted and Ceilings. This is also still exciting. We have so many exciting news in this episode. I can't tell you which one is more exciting. Roasted and Ceilings is expanding. And I'm smiling talking about this because if you guys know, me and Isabella have been running this podcast duo, solo duo, the entirety of this podcast. We have not had anyone else edit. We've not had anyone else script. We've not had anyone else do research, outreach, connect, clips, social media. That has all been the two of us. But we've finally decided that maybe giving volunteer opportunities might be really great for almost everyone involved. So we've started looking for volunteers. Isabella can tell you a bit more about that.
Yeah, it's definitely so exciting that our journey has brought us so far. I think that as our podcast has continued to grow and get larger and have our audience expand as well, it's been exciting to watch our analytics rise. And I think seeing that and seeing the different girls who watch contacting us and
Mhm.
asking us about how they can get involved in advocacy, I think, or in media as well, I think that's just such a beautiful thing. And definitely looking at it from a broader point of view, so many women face barriers to accessing meaningful career development, and mentorship or just exposure to different industries. So I think being able to take the next step, um, from just listening to the podcast, that next step to some hands-on connection, some hands-on experience and skill building. I think that kind of community that we could build through volunteer work, it would be amazing, to kind of have that team to gain leadership skills, problem-solving skills. It's definitely straying a bit from our traditional, the two of us doing all the media. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, like Isabella said, the amount of opportunities we've gotten from this podcast, astronomical, right? You guys know, you guys listen, but we've talked to so many different amazing, impressive women from almost every single field. We've been able to learn so much about them, get the hands-on experience that comes with running a podcast, working in media, and we just want to be able to kind of give back to our audience who are kind of looking for that same thing.
Yeah, so definitely go on to our Instagram, go apply. We're
Mhm.
excited to read your application.
Yeah, those are two very exciting updates of this episode, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.